You're watching Ellie from Ellymentry Papercrafting. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator here in the UK. So I'm live at 2:30 in the afternoon on Saturday the 23rd of April 2022. If anybody's watching, if they could just give me a message so that I know you're receiving me loud and clear. And then we can get on and I can show you what I'm going to be making today. So I put some messages out to say that I was going live at 2:30. So I hope somebody is going to come along. Right, I've got 2 people watching. So if you can just let me know who that is. I might just have to guess. Maybe could be Hillary. No, don't know who else. It'll surprise me. Rosie, hello Rosie. Lovely for you to come along. And is my little friend Adam with you, please? So has anybody been crafting today? Or maybe you've been out and about on the farm this morning. Don't know what it's been like for you. The weather's, it's dry, but it looks to be a little bit windy. I don't think it's particularly warm today. It's certainly not very warm where I am. Oh, Adam's out with his dad. Oh, well, I hope they're having a nice time. Have you been crafting this morning, Rosie? So I've been doing some preparation for today, and I've also been preparing for my card class, which is tomorrow afternoon. And I've been having a bit of a chat with a fellow demonstrator. So I was looking at the stamp sets that are retiring at the moment, or at the end of this month. And I was just, well, actually, I think it's the 2nd of May, these retire just before our new catalogue starts on the 3rd of May. And one of those stamp sets is All Squared Away, which is a shame because it is, I really like this one and I thought it was quite versatile, so I'm sorry to see it go. But anyway, if you do want this stamp set, you do need to get it now. So the stamps are the 4 blocks of colour and design and the 5 different sentiments which are there. And then the dies are lovely. They cut out in whatever colour you want to cut them out, and then they mount. They're perfectly sized to fit onto the stamped images. And then these are bits you can cut out in another colour and mount upon these ones here. So I've actually done quite a lot of preparation today because it's quite an involved, well, it's not really an involved card. It's really easy to do. Once you know the principle, it's a very easy technique. So if I show you what I've done ahead of time, and you'll understand why I've done it ahead of time, because it's not difficult. It's a little bit time consuming. So all I did was I stamped each of the images and I chose the retiring in colours, which are Just Jade, Magenta Madness, Bumblebee and Misty Moonlight. So the other colour that's retiring is Cinnamon Cider, and I'm going to use that for my sentiment. So I stamped each of those designs, one in each colour, onto a piece of Very Vanilla cardstock. I then took the dies, each of the dies, and I cut them all out in some Very Vanilla cardstock. Hello Hills, nice to have you with us this afternoon. It's just you, me and Rosie at the moment. It does say 4 watching, so let's hope somebody else pops on in a minute. Rosie's not been crafting, but well, maybe you'll try and make one of these. It'd be really good to see it, Rosie. I bet you it'll be something Adam would actually like. So I cut each of the dies out in the Very Vanilla, and then I cut the additional bits out in a different colour cardstock. So then I put the cutout shape onto the stamped piece, then I cut that out, and then I've mounted it onto a piece of, I wanted to use the Misty Moonlight again, but unfortunately I don't have any Misty Moonlight cardstock left. So I've used Night of Navy, which is quite a good match, and I think the Night of Navy does lift everything else up. So that's how I made these shapes, and then I use those little dies to cut out from the other bits of card to put on top. And I've just used a colour from an opposite design to build these up, and these measure 2 inches square now. Okay. Hilary, to answer your question, yes and no. So Rosie, just to share with you, because I know you've spoken to Anne on my lives before, her husband's been taken into hospital and we don't really know why. So unfortunately, it's obviously some sort of emergency, but all I can tell you, Hilary, is that he's having some sort of exploratory camera today, and they're looking for a bleed. So that's all I know, I'm afraid. I wish I could tell you more, but I don't want to keep bothering Anne, because obviously she doesn't really want to be answering messages, but I'm sure if possible she'll get on and tell us tonight. Okay, so that's where we're at with that bit of preparation. Now that's all I use the stamp set and dies for. Now to prepare my card, again I've done some ahead of time, and I've taken a Very Vanilla card and I've made that into an A5 card, which is my favoured size, and that measures 8 1/4 by 5 3/4. I then decided to use that matting and layering from here. I thought it would, you know, really match in with the rest of the cardstock. So there's my Night of Navy mat, and I've gutted the middle so as not to waste the cardstock. Then I've done the same with a piece of Very Vanilla. The Very Vanilla mat is 5 1/4 by 7 3/4, and the navy is 1/4 inch. This is 1/4 inch smaller than that. So this is 8 by 5 1/2. And then I've put the 5 1/4 by 7 3/8 on top of that. Sorry, 7 3/4. And then I've taken a piece of this gorgeous designer series paper. This is from the beautiful Friendship Suite, and I thought it went really well with the rest of our colour scheme. And I didn't want anything too definite in the background by the time we've got these things on. So there's layering here and there's layering there in the same kind of colours. Thank you, Rosie. I thought it looked rather nice too. So when I'm doing this kind of layering, I like to layer each piece onto each other and then put the whole thing onto the cardstock. I find that works best for me, but you know, you do it whichever way is better for you. I'm glad you're having a lovely day. Yes, I say it's bright and sunny, but it's not, it's definitely not warm. In fact, I think it's got quite chilly. Yesterday I was quite chilly. And this morning, well, for about half an hour before I came on here, I actually did put my little oil-filled radiator on in my craft room, because I turned the radiators, the central heating, off a week or so ago. So I haven't had any heating on at all. But yeah, I got a bit chilly just sitting here. Okay, so that's my 3 different mats, and that's the flip side of this paper here, because as you remember, all our designer series paper is all double-sided. Okay, so just to make sure I don't make an Australian card, I'm going to open it out and make sure I get this in the right place. So let's just pop that on again with my glue. I'll put a little bit down the centre. Yeah, it's a real shame. We you know, Norman's a smashing chap. Don't like to think of him being unwell. He's an enormous support to Anne. He's very, very good. Always pops out and gets things for her. And yeah, he is a nice chap. So I'm just using my bone folder to make sure I spread all the glue evenly and I get all my edges stuck down really well. So that's the basis of our card front, to give it that nice layered look. So Hillary's got sun, but cold and windy too. Yeah. So waterfall cards. I don't know whether you've made them or not. I've made quite a lot in my time, and there's something that sort of comes in and out of fashion, I think. And I know there are still people who've not been brave enough to make one, or, you know, some people who may not even have seen them yet, not even tried them. So I always like to do it occasionally just to refresh people's memories. So just, you know, to reiterate, it's not my idea. I don't know where it originated. I think the first one I ever did was at least 10 years ago. So they've been around a long time. So the mechanism is really, really simple. You need a piece of card. Now I've used a thick piece of cardstock here, and I've added a piece of the designer series paper on top so that this isn't too prominent. And this just needs to be, I've made it about 3/4 of an inch. The measurement isn't really, what's the word? It doesn't have to be really accurate, but it needs to be wider than these pieces, but narrower than this. So I've gone for a piece, this piece is about 1 inch narrower than that designer series paper, but honestly it's not crucial. These pieces, they're going to flip over and they fit onto a piece of card which I've made about 1/4 of an inch wider. So if I move that over, you'll see it's about 1/4 of an inch wider. So it needs to be, this needs to allow this to come up and down, sliding through. I'm just going to turn this off because I don't want that making a noise during the video. So yeah, you can see why this needs to be a bit wider. The thing is, you don't want it too wide, otherwise this moves about. Now I've put some foam tape on the back of here, and I've just noticed it could do with being a bit closer because otherwise it will move about. So I'm going to add just a tiny bit more on the inside here. So I just cut a piece. It's a bit difficult to say exactly the size of this because it needs to be close by, but not, it shouldn't touch, otherwise it will stop this moving. So if I pop that there, and I've just used this foam tape that I found in my drawer. I have no idea where I got it from. It's just been in there for years. But it just happens to be a good width for this piece of cardstock. If I hadn't had this, I would have just cut a piece of the Stampin' Up double-sided foam sheet. Right, so as you can see, that fits in there. You can still move it a little bit, but it's not going to go too far. Okay, So what we do first is make the mechanism. So I'm going to just move that card out of the way, and I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Up trimmer. Oh, hi Esther, lovely to see you. Right, so Esther, what we're doing is we're doing a waterfall card. Oh, hi Adam, lovely, I'm glad you're back in time. I'm making a waterfall card using all squared away. That's my base, and I've made these from the stamps and dies. Oh, I'm sure you've got a note, and I know that it'll be for a good reason. I thoroughly trust you, my darling. Oh dear. Okay, so this measures 2¼ inches, and it's just the length of a piece of A4. And I'm going to score at 2¼ inches. And I'm really scoring this down heftily. And then I'm going to do it at 2¾ so it's ½ inch difference each side, each time. And then that's going to move up to 3¼ and finally 3¾ Okay, so where we've scored, we're going to fold. Now I'm just going to check and make sure I've got enough scores, because you know what it's like, you think you've done it right and then you think, oh, actually I haven't got enough. So that's 1, 2, 3 and 4. So that's right, that's going to be our mechanism. Now what I like to do is really make sure that these are folded and burnished really, really well. The whole key to a kinetic card is making sure that your score lines, wherever something's going to fold and move a lot, it must be very well scored and burnished. Hello Joanna, it's lovely to see you. Thank you for joining us. Where have you been, Joanna? So I've given those a good burnish, and then the trick is to move it back, fold it the other way and burnish again, so that it's really well and truly going to work well. Oh, hi Shirley, it's lovely to see you. Thanks for joining us. So I'd just like to know, does the notification bell work for you on YouTube? Because I've never really, obviously I've never tested it for myself. Okay, so this is how our mechanism is going to work, like so. So I'm going to start, I'm going to decide where I want to pop my little pieces. I'll put this out flat to start with. So I've got the small piece at the bottom. This was the piece that measured 2¼ So I'm going to stick my first one down there, like so. And then I'm going to build up each one like so until I get to the top. Okay. So the first one can stick completely on to that bottom part, and I'm going to leave, yeah, thank you Esther. I always you know, I'm always keen to know if people get the notifications, because I get them when you go on, but I know sometimes people don't get them when you go on, so I'm just hoping that mine work. Now I'm sticking with that matting and layering, and I'm putting this equally in the middle here, so it should have about 1/8 inch border all the way around. Adam says it looks amazing. Oh wow, Rosie, I'm really glad he's enjoying this. It's nice to be able to appeal to the younger generation as well as the older ones amongst us. Okay, so that's one's stuck nicely there. Now my next one, I'm going to position it so that it's matching either side here, and it's just below that score line. Don't stick it on the score line, otherwise it won't flip nicely. So I'm going to actually put the glue on here rather than on the back of the piece I'm sticking on, so that I don't get glue further down. So I can just pop this on. I can match it up with the one below for width wise, and then just make sure that I can actually see the fold. So, oh, hello, Tracy. Thanks for coming along. Lovely to see you. So, Rosie, do you think Adam would like to have a go at this one? So then I'm going to put my glue again on this part. And I am putting a fair bit of glue on here because it's going to be, it will be played with quite a lot. And this is quite, this is a double thickness of card and then a third thickness on top here. So there's quite a lot here. So I'm just going to bring that in, check it's flush with the bottom, just below the fold point, press down. And then the fourth one is going to go there. So has anybody made one of these before? Interactive, yes, thank you. Has anybody made one of these before, a waterfall card? Be interested to know who's done it and whether it worked. Because I know the first time I saw one, I found it quite difficult to follow the instructions. But then this particular method I found by somebody else, and this was the one that worked for me. I'm trying to think of the lady who showed me this. I think her name was Wendy, but I can't remember her other name. And she was at the NEC one year. So Shirley has tried it, but it didn't work. And Esther's got caught a little. Yeah, they can do, which is, I mean, I've used, I say this is the one that I got from Wendy, but actually, thinking about it, I've changed it a little bit since then. I've sort of, well, you know yourself, you make something the way someone showed you and it doesn't work. So you think, well, why didn't it work? Okay, then I think it might have been this. So anyway, that's how I've done it. I've just kind of used a bit of her instructions, and then if I didn't like a bit, I've changed it a little bit. So it's kind of, it is Wendy's original idea, but I've kind of just probably, I know what I've done differently, because mine caught sometimes. And the bit I did was to put it raised here, put this foam on, and that stops it getting caught. Too much faffing about for Hilary, yeah. Well, we know you don't like faffing about. You like something quite simple. So the idea is that you stick this piece we've made with the foam on to the back. It's important it goes on the back of this piece. Okay. Can't really stick it on the front because it would go over that, wouldn't it? So I just turn it over and place it there so that I can see it's going to clear these pieces of foam tape. And again, I'm putting it on here so that I can see where it's going, and then place that on top and make sure that it's going to be in between the foam. And then I'm just going to press it down very firmly and line up that bottom bit. Okay, now I'm not going to do anything with it yet. I'm going to really hold this together. So in case anybody missed that bit, because I know people have been coming on at different times, this is a piece of thick cardstock, thick very vanilla, and I've stuck a piece of designer series paper on top. It's not just paper, all right? It won't work if you just use paper. It has to be cardstock, and as I say, the thicker cardstock is the better. Okay, now I can kind of show you how it works. So this is going to be a pulley, like so. And that's how it flips. Sorry, I don't think I was in camera then. You just put it here, like so. Okay, so I'm not going to, you can't stick this piece down, otherwise it won't work. All right, it's these bits you stick to the card. Okay, so I'm going to bring my card in, and I want this to be nearer the top than the bottom. So I'm going to peel off my pieces of backing tape from here. Yeah, it goes behind this one, look. This one is stuck to the bottom of there. Okay. Yeah, that's where you went wrong. Yeah, I think there are a few people, Shirley, that have done that. So I'm taking off the backing paper. Yeah, if you want to have a go at this, you know, the beauty is you can just replay this video and pause it at each point. I really, really would like to see if any of you do this. I'd like to see if it works. So pulled that off. Yeah, it does make a lot of difference. When I first made one, the person who showed me, oh, didn't that stuck before I meant it to. Right, little tip, keep that up while you're placing it. Yeah, the person who showed me used brads. This was held down with brads, and I think that's why it gets stuck, because it's too close. You just need that bit of space. So that's going down really, really firmly. Where can we share the projects? Well, do you know what? That's something I've forgotten to think about. I'm not sure if we can put them on my... Let me work on it, Esther. I might have to ask you for a bit of help, okay? So this is how it works. You could email me, yeah. It's... can anybody just type my email address in? I can't type it myself, and if I say it, people might get it wrong. They might spell it wrong. So that's how it works. I think you'll see that nothing gets stuck, and it's quite simple. Okay. Now I want to stamp my greeting on the bottom here. And for that, I'm going to use the 5th retiring in colour. Oh my goodness, I couldn't think of my words. Which is Cinnamon Cider. And I'm going to stick with the same stamp set and choose... I'm going to put happiest of birthdays to you, because that's why I send cards, for birthdays. Oh, Rosie, thank you for your wow. And Joanna says it's fabulous. Right. So come on, who's going to have a go? Now, once you've made one of these and you've measured it all out, because as you'll see, this piece of cardstock is much, much too long. But I always give myself a good long piece. Thank you, Esther. I like to give myself a nice long piece, and then I can add my greeting, and then I can cut it off when I know it's in the right place. Joanna, what does that little emoji mean? Is that I'm thinking about giving this a go, or oh no, it's too confusing? So I'm going to pop that on the bottom. And then now I'm going to see if I can get my trio punch to work on this. So I'm going to cut this off. I wonder if I can get it in my trimmer or whether I need to just do it by hand. I think I'm going to just do it by hand. So I need to cut this off. I'll make a little pencil mark. You'll have a go, Joanna. Brilliant. Thank you so much. That's the one, Esther. Thank you. So I'm going to make a little mark here. So that's about 1/2 inch below. And that's where I'm going to cut it off. Actually, I think I can get it in my trimmer, can't I? Okay, so if I get the card straight along the base here and bring this down. So that's cut that off for me quite nicely. Just rub that little pencil mark off. So that's that. And then this, oh dear, and this might not work. I might not have this. This will go. Yep, it does. So as you can see there in that hole, that's where my little hole's gonna go. So I'm going to just turn this round to get it. So if I get this part centered here, and whoa, it's moving. Press my punch down. It works like so. And then I've got a piece of just plain white ribbon. You can use anything you like to go in here, but this is the only ribbon I have that would go with this colour scheme. It's just a piece of plain white. But you could use some twine or something if you had some. Or do you know, this always happens to me when I do a live. I put things down right next to me and then I got no room to pick things up again. Oh, right, so I'm just going to cut that off at an angle. And with my trusty tweezers. Oh, Rosie, I'm so glad that you and Adam are going to have a go. Now then, Adam, which stamp set are you going to use? Do you know yet? So I'm just going to pop this. Actually, if I put my tweezers in the hole, bring the ribbon through. I'm probably making this a lot more fiddly than it is. Like so. And that's my card. Works perfectly. I think it's a case of getting this in the right place. So your foam pads are there. You've got a little bit of room, but don't move it too far, because if you stick the foam too far out and there's a big gap, this, as it comes down, can go to the side. So you can put it down really straight. Nothing gets stuck anywhere. Oh, they aren't Ellie's big scissors. Oh, right, okay. Right, let me go through my scissors for you. Fire in the hole. Right, these are my ribbon scissors. I only cut ribbon with these. These are my scissors I use for anything sticky because they're not sharp anymore. So it doesn't matter if they get spoiled. They're my sticky scissors. You're loving this, aren't you? These are my big scissors when I need to cut something that's very long. And these are my snips, my Stampin' Up snips. My Stampin' Up snips, which are my bestest scissors, dead sharp and really lovely to use on my cardstock paper and such like. Okay, so that's my scissor collection. there's a girl band, isn't there? Is it the Scissor Sisters? I think perhaps I should be a member. Okay, so right now I want a final commitment. Who's going to make this card? Come on, who is going to make it and show me that my instructions work? And Esther and I will sort something out. Look, I'm not the only one about the scissors. Joanna's got them too. Joanna, you and I are scissor sisters, okay? Thank you, Shirley. That'd be great. Yes, you can email it to me, or I'm going to have a word with Esther and see if I can find out how you can put them onto perhaps a group Facebook page. Yeah, that's, yeah, I don't know how to start another Facebook page, but Esther will help me with that. I know she will. And Tracy's going to try it. Oh, goody gum. Everyone's going to have a go. Yeah. Yeah, we need to make... Yeah, this is what we need. Another Facebook group. And I don't know how to do yet another Facebook page. You know, I've got the business page and my private page. So personal page. I'm not quite sure how to do yet another one because I had a bit of trouble setting up the other one. But I know you'll show me how to do that. Oh, why, Esther, you're giving me so many ideas, and it's great. Yeah, if I can do something like, you know, Ellymentry Papercrafting inspired and shared, but obviously not the same name as you, but that kind. If you could show me how to make another page like that, that'd be great. Adam's going to use. You're going to use All Squared Away as well. I'd be really interested, Adam, to see what colours you use. Okay. Now, I hope you can see why I used this. The Ellymentries. Oh, wow. Yeah. Oh, well done. Thank you. Hi, Cindy. I'm so glad you're here. It's a shame that we're like really late, but it doesn't matter because you can just rewatch this. We've had a bit of fun. The Ellymentry Crafters. Yeah. Yeah, I love it. I love it. So, yeah, so the reason I did this was so that this is not obvious. When you look at this card, people are not really going to even see this mechanism. So the whole mechanism is completely hidden, which I think looks much nicer. When I first made this, it was just the same colour as this part, so it showed really. Okay, so I'm not going to hold you up any longer, everybody. Thank you all very much again for coming along. If you've enjoyed the video, I'd love it if you would just click that thumbs up button or like button, whatever it's called on your device. I'd love it if you could share this amongst your friends. And yeah, you all know in the description box, I've got links to my online store and the digital downloaded catalogues. And yeah, so that's it. I'm finished for today. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day and the rest of your weekend. And I'm signing off now. So it's Ellie from the Ellymentries. Bye-bye for now. Essential Ellymentries. Yep, that's great. I love it, Cindy. Bye, everyone.